Good morning, good morning. I have now been off social media for 30 days. I will be roaming the streets and and sharing with you my reflections for being off social media for 30 days. I deleted social media. I don't intend on going back, but I'm really curious about how being off the apps has affected me mentally. So I want to keep a journal essentially and share that with you. Okay. Also, here is the quick little breakfast that I made myself. So I'm gonna eat this and then take a shower, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, the weather is exceptionally warm today. It is 7 degrees outside, which is crazy because it was like minus 30 like a week ago. I think being off social media has just made me so much calmer because I let my feelings flow through me instead of picking up my phone and just scrolling endlessly through reels and like numbing the pain and the worries, especially associated with the work that I do. I think that with the type of work that I do, the level of stakes, the fact that like people's abilities to reconnect with their families are on the line. People are possibly like getting deported, and I have to like stop that from happening. It's just insanely stressful. And even in this week, because I didn't have social media to just lean on and scroll through endlessly, I kind of had to actually work on calming my mind instead of just letting the anxiety sit there while like the blue light from the screen just like numbed my brain. I had to actually think, what are my thoughts? Is it rational and is it fair for me to take on this much stress? What can I actually do to fix this situation? And am I doing everything in my power to be as competent, as helpful, as hardworking as I can be to actually fix people's problems? Beyond that, I cannot take responsibility for other things. And so before, at the end of the day, when I would come home, I would just scroll through reels on Instagram or on TikTok or whatever it was so that I could kind of just like ignore those really big feelings and like bury my head in the sand and just like push through. And I think now what I do is I just let the anxiety flow through me. So I'm not staring at a blue screen that's like shooting up my anxiety, right? I'm letting the thoughts enter my head and then letting them sit there and ruminate, but also then letting them leave. And it's not like I'm not consuming content. Like I might be listening to a song still or like listening to a podcast or something, but it's not that same kind of numbing effect that I would have if I just stared at a screen and scrolled through the entire time. So that is my reflection on that point so far. I'm really enjoying the fresh air. Today it's so warm and it's so nice out, and I'm just gonna keep doing stuff today and sharing my reflections with you guys. Honestly, 10 out of 10 movie. That was amazing. I had a wonderful time. Super action packed, super magic packed. I love Harry Potter so much. That was honestly a wonderful afternoon. So yeah, I'm home now. I'm just going to get myself settled in, and then I'm gonna finish up this video with the rest of my reflections. Cheers. So, Another change that I didn't expect to experience so soon was actually getting my attention span back. I feel like a lot, I just have a lot more of an attention span. Like I can listen through entire albums now, and it's embarrassing, but it's been like a long time since I could just do that. Like I'm going to a concert in May, and the album for that concert just came out the other night, and I listened to the whole thing. I just decided and opened it and listened and didn't get distracted, and it was fine because I think I wasn't like looking for a quick dopamine hit anymore. Just in the past 30 days alone, I've kind of been able to like curb that a lot. Truthfully, I actually didn't like the album that much, but I listened to the entire thing. I was able to do it, and I was able to listen carefully, and I was able to like analyze it and think more about it. And there are songs on there that I like, but it's just nice to feel like I have my brain back again, which feels really insane. I feel like part of this journey, I'm experiencing a lot of shame that I'm trying for that to not be the center of everything, because it feels really crazy to be like, my attention span is shot. I just scroll through my phone for hours and hours a day. My screen time is insane, right? But I feel like it's not helpful to feel sad about it. And instead, I'm just trying to be thankful for the fact that like I made this decision and I'm taking steps to care about my well-being more. And now my life feels fuller for it. Before, I felt like I was stretched really thin. I was working all the time, and then I was coming home and I was depleted, and then I was just scrolling through my phone because I was so depleted. But now I feel like because scrolling through my phone isn't even an option, I'm like finding myself again, and I'm doing things that I like again, which includes making these vlogs as well, which has been really fun. I feel like even when I'm like reading, I like read a lot more articles, I read a lot more books. And I think I always excuse like, well, I just don't even have like the energy to read anymore because I read so much at my job. But I think I just fried my brain with the amount of social media I was using. So that has been a surprising change, like how quickly it happened, is that I can consume long form media a lot more. So another major reflection that I've had is, I should say improvement also. I'm so much more rested. It's so much easier to sleep now, because my habits were so bad with my phone. I would get into bed and I would just scroll and like burn my eyes and just, blue light in my face. And I tell myself that I just needed an escape and I needed to relax, but it wasn't relaxing. It was just anxiety inducing. And then I would just have even the worst sleep when I would finally fall asleep. But now I actually like get sleepy. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I want something to fall asleep to. So I will still like play a podcast. But now I found that like I will actually fall asleep to like people speaking, right? Like on the podcast. Like I actually start to feel my eyes closing and like can't keep them from closing, which I'm sure it sounds really weird that I'm so happy and fascinated about this, but I feel like it's genuinely been years since I've just like let sleep just like take me away. And it's been so nice. And I have dreams that I actually remember. So I'm just experiencing rest in a way that I feel like I haven't for years. And it sounds so sad to say, but truthfully, like I've been on social media since I was like 12, 13, and also just more obsessed with it than I think I was willing to admit to myself. And now that I'm off of it, I just feel so much freedom, and I feel so much more present, and again, so much more rested. And that has been such a gift, and one of the biggest reasons I can't see myself going back. I think one of the biggest reflections of all is a cliche, but comparison really is the thief of joy. And it was not helpful for me to have access to how so many people were living their lives. And I don't even like, this isn't really about people I was close to, because I feel like it's really kind of weird to compare yourself to people who are close to you, because you know their life a lot more intimately. You know what was required to either have the things that they do have, or the struggles that they're going through, or, you know, whatever it is. You just appreciate the complexity of their lives. And so when good things happen for them, all you have is happiness for that. But I think when you're just exposed to like strangers on the internet via the explore feed, via like whatever, you make a lot of assumptions about people. At least I was. Maybe other people aren't doing it, but I feel like that's a thing that I often hear. So it's nice to just not have access to that anymore. I think the big thing about social media is we all have too much access to each other. And I just always found it weird that like I would meet someone at one phase of my life and then have them add them on whatever social media platform, and then just continue to have them on there. And I really feel like we should be able to just move past people, right? And go on with our lives. And if we run into them again, we can catch up. But it just seems really odd and unnatural to be like clued in to what so many people are doing with their lives constantly. And I tried anyways, like not to follow celebrities and stuff, so I wouldn't make those comparisons. But I think it's just really hard, especially with the way social media is right now, with like people reposting stuff, with whatever is going to be on your explore feed. It's really, really hard not to compare yourself to other people, especially because I feel like as human beings, we have a tendency to do that anyways, and a tendency to kind of flatten other people's lives and the complexity that is there. And so it's easier to just unplug and interact with people in person, and then just take them at face value and not be comparing my life to anyone else, and really just focusing on taking care of myself to the best of my ability and loving the people who are around me and who are dear to me. Biggest cliche, but comparison is the thief of joy. And I'm happy to be rid of a mechanism that allowed that to happen. Yeah, this tea is really good. Like, really good. Yeah. So, those are all of my reflections for the past 30 days, at least the big ones. And I'm planning on making this kind of a series. I don't know when the next time will be that I update you guys, maybe at 100 days. But I mean, if anything, yeah, I just wanted to make sure to like track this for myself and to be able to look back at it. And I think that's what a lot of the motivation behind me vlogging again is about. And I'm really curious to hear what your experiences are, if you've unplugged from social media and seen some changes in your life. I'd like to hear about what those changes have been, and if